What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody who was here so far in the chat. Let's see, who do we have here? Truth. I'm gonna address that topic, but not in the live stream. I actually did a video about it. That's hopefully gonna come sometime this weekend, hopefully. But I had so many other commentaries ahead of it. What's going on, Marcus B1, Darlene, Black Voltron, John Brown, Papa D, Jamal Bay? What's going on? Make sure when y'all come into the chat to go ahead and hit that like button. Share the stream on your various social media platforms. I would greatly appreciate it. Y'all already know what day it is and what time it is. Let's see who else we have so far in the chat. It says so far 32 people are watching. Oh, wow. It's just like a whole bunch of people just popped in at the same time. Let's see what's going on. Jerome, Elgin, the original DJ, Chris, Glover, Alana, Kung Fu Lee. What's going on? What's going on? What's up? What's up? This has been yet another eventful week, as we all know, and we know why. Well, it's mainly one person, but it's a few other things that happened after that. Let's see who else we have in here. Tonda, SW, Jerome, J. Cage, Maximus, Royalty. What's going on? Salute to everybody who's coming in the chat so far. NW. Yeah, I know Lisa just had a stream. She was talking about the Jigaboon, known as Daniel Cameron. What's going on, songwriter Sonny? Oh, so this must be your first time seeing my face. Yeah. The only time I really cam up is on Fridays, or if I'm doing some type of a review of something. That's the only time I really show my face. Other than that, y'all get the thumbnail. What's going on, Ashen? Joseph Washington. Salute to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you, Black Voltron, with the first super chat of the day. It says B1 salutations to you, Torian Rain Reloaded, the moderators and chat family from West Oakland, California. Let's get it. Exactly. Let's see who else we have in here. Yolanda, Tawana, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, Elgin, my sentiments exactly. Alanya said you missed her stream. She was listening to Harvey. Yeah, he just recently uploaded a video talking about another individual we don't like, and that's Terry Loose Screws Cruz. Let's see who else we have in here. What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Bosley Nation? We had quite a few topics to discuss today. I'm looking at all the topics at the cross of my the top of my screen, lined up in the order that I'm going to do them in. What's going on, Anthony, Mark? Salute to everybody. Let's see, last one standing. What's going on? Shout out to you and shout out to Raleigh. What's going on, Papa D? He said East Long Beach in the house. Shout out to East Long Beach. Oh, I got a question to ask y'all. Have y'all been getting the notifications lately? Because I've noticed that it seems like the algorithm is acting when it wants to on point right now, based on the view count for the last few videos that I've uploaded. Have y'all been getting the notifications? Pinky said, I'm about to clock out from work and listen to your live stream. Appreciate you. SW says, Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Elgin says no. Reginald says no. Ashton says no. Mark says yes. SW said he got it. Boulder said he got it. Gwendolyn says she got it. So it's kind of a mix. But I'm seeing more yeses than nos. But yeah, make sure that y'all are still, checking to see if y'all are subscribed to my channel, that the notifications are still on and everything of that nature. Because they play night and day. What's going on, 225 Girl? What's going on live from NYC? Black Night Discussions. Isaiah, you say you get them most of the time. I'm going to probably give it one more minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started because I have a lot of topics to discuss. And it's crazy because some topics I had to add in. Like I already had, like when I made the thumbnail for this stream that y'all saw, it's like 2 additional things that came up after I made that thumbnail that I'm going to talk about in this stream. Anthony said you get them all the time so far. K. Ennis is live from Northern Indiana. And I hope you, and speaking of Northern Indiana, K. Ennis, I hope you are paying attention to my Sundown series. We are currently on your state right now, which is Indiana. And I actually just recorded one of the towns today. That'll be up, of course, on Sunday. What's going on, Dee? What's going on, Jermaine? In live from NYC says I usually get them late. Surprised I got it on time. Yeah, it's like I said, it's hit or miss. That's why I changed up my upload schedule. If y'all didn't catch it last week, I said that I was going to switch up my upload schedule and to this new one based on how the algorithm works for my channel as far as when people see my content. And by the way, I ended up upgrading my phone yesterday. I am no longer, after holding down Android since 09, I am now an iPhone owner. I am now team iPhone. And it's crazy because when I posted it up on Facebook, I had got such a huge response from people. People was like, I can't believe you're a traitor and all types of stuff. Nothing in seriousness, but all in fun, because it was always this long-standing rivalry between Android and iPhone. But I like it though, because it's real smooth. And that's what I need, especially when it comes to the content that I make. And I needed a new phone anyway because my screen was cracked on the old one and it messed up the camera. Yep, the Android was my first smartphone. That was the first smartphone I ever had. The Motorola Joy was the first one, the one that slid up and it had the keypad. I eventually got tired of that keypad because the way my fingers work, I would press down hard on them, and sometimes the keypad would get messed up. I went through 2 of them and I was like, nah, I can't do that no more. But I still stuck with the Android, but just got a different one. But after holding down Android for since 09, when I was 20, mind you, since I was 20 and I'm now 31, I have now made the switch to iPhone. Now I'm 31. But I'm about to go ahead and I didn't even I'm about to say I didn't even see the super chat, but then I realized that Vulcan already Black Voltron already donated, and I'm looking at it incorrectly. But anyway, appreciate you, Nick Joe, for the compliment, for the comment. But now I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, it's now 4:07. Like I said, I have a lot of topics to discuss. And the first 3 topics are kind of unfortunate topics, but I do have to talk about them. So I'm gonna go ahead right now and share my screen. We can go ahead and get this thing started. So the first person I want to talk about is Thomas Jefferson Byrd. He was an actor. They say he was best known for playing in a lot of Spike Lee movies. I'm not even going to lie. I wasn't too familiar with a lot of his Spike Lee films. But one thing that I do remember him being in was Set It Off, when he played Luther, the janitor owner, the ones that they worked for. He always talked a lot of crap about all of those women that worked for him. But that was one of the movies I definitely remember him being in. I also remember him being in an episode of Living Single back in the 90s as well. But they said he was killed in Atlanta. But it's still a developing investigation. They haven't announced really how or who, I should not say how, well, who killed him. So, it's very unfortunate. I think he should have probably got more roles and been more known than what he is, because he was a very good actor. It's unfortunate, when it comes to us, they like to recycle out a lot of the same actors over and over again, and claims that there's not a lot of Black talent out there when there really is. SW, you quoted the line from the movie that came to mind for me when it was in Set It Off, when he was talking about if you don't like work for Luther's janitorial. That's the line that always comes to mind for me when I thought of his character, was that line right there. And ironically, in the movie, that was the first time we see him. And yes, he did. He played Max's landlord on Living Single. But you know, it's unfortunate. Hopefully they find who killed him. It's unfortunate though. A lot of people think, you know, when someone kills you like that, they probably say, "Oh, I wonder if it's somebody that he knew, or if it was random, or you know, something of that nature." It's still developing details behind the whole incident, but it is sad either way. So moving right along on to the next person who died this week, or was it last week or this week? I can't remember. It's so much. Johnny Nash. Now I can honestly say I wasn't too familiar with him, but when they said what song he was known for, I was like, oh, he's the one that made that song. I'm gonna be quite honest with y'all. I thought a white person made that song. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I did not know that a brother made that song. And I said, oh, I'm familiar with that song. It was used in a lot of movies. As a matter of fact, I'm about to show my age here, but there was this movie that came out back in the late 90s called Ants, which was basically the mature version of A Bug's Life. And it was a scene in that movie where they went to this place called Insectopia, which was basically like a haven for all the ants and all the insects and everything in the movie. And one of the songs that they played in that scene was that song. Now I think they did their own rendition of it for copyright purposes, most likely, but it was that song. And I think that was the first time I ever heard that song, and ever since then I kept hearing it over and over again. So it was used in a lot of movies, and it was probably sampled a couple of times as well. But that's how you know you have a hit song. But RIP to this man as well. And the last person I wanted to talk about who passed this week, they say it happens in threes. And here's the third one. And that's Eddie Van Halen. Now I'm gonna be honest. I did not listen to any music by Van Halen, the group Van Halen. I have heard of them. I knew that there was a rock group from back in the day. But if it's one thing I do remember about Eddie Van Halen, is that guitar solo that he did for one of Michael Jackson's biggest songs on the biggest album of all time. That song being Beat It. Now, actually, when I was looking up some stuff about him, he had did an interview where he was saying he got a call from Quincy Jones to do a guitar solo for the song. And he said like he was kind of standoffish about it at first, but then he eventually agreed to do it. And he said he came into the studio, and then Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson had stepped out, and he was in the studio by himself. And he recorded the solo, but he recorded more than what he was supposed to. And he was worried that it wouldn't get used. So it ended up getting used, and it ended up becoming one of the most famous guitar riffs for a song ever made, to the point where it became so famous that when Michael Jackson would perform it on that, I think it was the Victory Tour with his brothers, right around the time when Thriller was at its popularity, he had Eddie Van Halen come and perform the song or his part on the tour with him. So yeah, RIP to him as well. So now we are about to move into the next parts of these stories. I'm trying to see who else is in the chat, because I know some more people came up in here. All right, let's move right along. Okay, now we are about to talk about someone that we have not heard from, or heard about, I should say, in quite some time. And that's Ed Buck. So this article came out on September 26, 2020, which was a couple weeks ago. I didn't find out about it until I just happened to go type his name into the search bar. And I said, let's see what's going on with Ed Buck nowadays, because they don't talk about, like, they really don't talk about him anymore. You literally have to go and look him up. So the latest that came out about Ed Buck is that he has to stay behind bars until his trial. They're not allowing him to be released from prison. Period. he has to stay behind bars. Unlike somebody else who just got released from jail on a $1 million bond, Derek Chauvin. Yeah, if y'all didn't hear, Derek Chauvin got released on a $1 million bond, which is like $100,000. And the most recent thing that came up was that he will not be in Minnesota while he's out, quote unquote. They're moving him to a neighboring state for his safety, as if people can't find out where he's at. Because the whole world knows what he looks like. It wasn't so much of an isolated outrage where it was just conducive or condensed to one particular group. Everybody, the whole world was watching. So unless they plan on like burying him underground, like you know how they did with bin Laden, there's not really any place he can really go. And if y'all see me drinking something that looks like this on the screen, it's just my protein shake. But yeah, Ed Buck is staying in jail. And that's good because that old fool, now that's a menace right there. That's a menace to society through and through. What's going on, JJ Smooth? And salute to everybody who is now coming into the chat, who wasn't here earlier doing the introduction. Welcome all. Let's move on from that and head to this OnlyFans topic. Y'all probably like, where is Torian going with this one? Well, it seems nowadays that a lot of average individuals are getting very upset with celebrities because now they have flooded the OnlyFans market. Now, before the virus kicked off, there was people on OnlyFans, but it was your everyday average person on OnlyFans doing whatever it is that they're doing on OnlyFans. But let's be real here. We know what they was doing. But then when the virus did hit, you had a lot of celebrities start to go and be on OnlyFans and create accounts on OnlyFans. I think they said Tyga just created an OnlyFans. I think they said Jordan Woods just created an OnlyFans, and it's some model who just made an OnlyFans, and I think she made like millions of dollars or something like that. Now, here's where people who are like everyday average people have a comparison with those of us who create YouTube content and their issue with big time people getting accounts on these particular platforms. It's one thing if you get a Twitter account or an Instagram account or a Snapchat account, because there's probably little to no money to be made there, depending if you have sponsors, something like that. But people have made money off of YouTube and OnlyFans. The problem is when you have celebrities start to saturate places like OnlyFans and YouTube, it pushes down the average content creator and builds them up. I mean, think about it. Who would they promote more, me or Will Smith? And truth be told, I actually found out about that OnlyFans originally wasn't even supposed to be for what it is nowadays. It was actually supposed to be kind of a competition for YouTube. But when people found out that they can upload any type of content that they wanted, they took off and ran with it. So basically, like I said, the people are mad that a lot of these celebrities are joining OnlyFans because now they got to change their rules. And I think they have. I think they changed their policies, like how they get paid. I think at one point they got paid weekly. But now that the stock has gone up for OnlyFans and celebrities are joining it for whatever reason, Now, instead of them getting paid weekly, they get paid monthly. Imagine going from a weekly check to a monthly check. And you could have been making good money with that weekly. But now you're only getting paid once a month. Because now they can't afford to pay all those people like that. And OnlyFans is subscription based. It is a subscription. That's what. Thank you, Charles Gibson. That's what I was thinking of. Bella Thorne. That's the one that kicked it all off during quarantine when she created her OnlyFans account. That's what kicked it all off, and then everybody else started to follow suit. But yeah, they are pissed about that, and I would be too, because it's like, what with the money that you make, what do you need for with this? But then it dawned on me when quarantine happened and the pandemic happened and all of that stuff happened, stuff started to slow down and dry up for a lot of these celebrities. You know, if they're singers or artists of any kind, they can't go on tour. If they're actors and actresses, they can't be in films. So he's like, how can I make money? I know. Let me go create an OnlyFans account. And I already have a huge following, so I know people are going to flock to me. Salute to you, Gnome King. He says celebrity chicks like Cardi B, Bella Thorne, and Black China making all the money on OnlyFans. Now all the ratchets and strippers with stab wounds, bullet holes, and C-section scars can't make no money on it. Yeah, they pissed about that. But yeah, it does, like I said, it does take money out of the other people. What's going on, Santi? Charles, because he said, what was OnlyFans' predecessor? I have no clue. I know people, people was using like Pornhub and stuff like that. So I don't know. But hopefully they can get it together. If not, I guess they'll have to adapt, because we had to. Let's move off of that and head to this Breonna Taylor, Kenneth Walker situation. It seems like I'm bringing a weekly update about this story every week for like the last few weeks. So one of the latest things that I saw, and it's just amazing the lengths that they will go. There was, and y'all probably saw it. There was a picture that went out where it was showing Kenneth Walker and Breonna Taylor, and he was holding a gun, a firearm that he was legal to own, had all the paperwork, and she was posing there with him while he was holding the gun. And they kept trying to make a big deal out of this. I'm like, he's a licensed gun owner. It's registered in Kentucky. Last I checked, isn't Kentucky an open carry state? They tried to make a big deal out of that, basically saying how dare they carry a gun. But see, they try to do it because a gun was involved with the shooting. Shout out to you, V Michelle, for the super chat. They try to make a big deal out of that. They blow up anything that will involve in Black people to some astronomical scale and try to make it bigger than what it is. Shout out to you, Solo Doe. He says, lock Danny Boy up with the race soldiers. And then, of course, they also said there was some more. Before I go any further, of course, they also have released all of the grand jury documents. Then you had that jigaboon Daniel Cameron. He claimed he was fine with it at first, but then what happened like a couple days later? I want to go after the juror that put all that stuff out there. I said his days are numbered. His days are numbered. He is about to be up out of it, and it can't come fast enough. And they have a different story every single time when this happens. Because look at what it says right there on the screen. Evidence against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, part of cover up, says attorney. Internal probe, police collected negative info about Breonna Taylor's boyfriend after the shooting. Police attempted to gather negative information on Breonna Taylor's boyfriend after the fatal shooting. They says a report showed Louisville police officer was shot. It says that now they claim that he was shot by him and not by friendly fire. See, they don't know they don't know where they're going with this. They're all over the place. Appreciate you, Sean from the Shy. It says they are trying to cover the atrocities committed. Exactly. They're all over the place. They cannot have one strong, coherent story. Every story, it seems like every week or every day, there's a new story, and none of it adds up. None of it. And they're doing it so they can try to stick, how can I put it? So they can have it where it fits their narrative, even if it's filled with lies. And it is. Like there's nothing like exactly who said that? Black Knight discussion says they're pulling at straws at this point. They are. They have nothing better to do than do that. It's like give up the ghost. And I didn't talk about this last week, but that one of those terrorists, he was out there raising money for himself to try to pay for his retirement. Appreciate you, Noam King. He says, I don't blame Kenneth Walker. The only difference between him and me is that I wouldn't have missed. There would have been an officer down. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's see. Live from NYC says they're going to eventually play Pin the Donkey on Daniel Cameron. I can't wait till he gets his. You, me, and everybody else that has come in contact with him. Maybe he'll come in contact with the woo-woo. I'm not sure. But he's going out of his way to make himself appear to be just this ain't shit type of person. And he isn't. What's going on, AK Sour God? But yeah, like I said, it seems like every week there's something new that comes out. Then they had that, they kept claiming that they didn't have any what was it? Body cam footage, even though clearly there was some body cam footage. Like all they did was lie and lie some more. That's all they did. But something tells me that I'll be back here next Friday with another update to this where they lied a lot about something else. But let me move on. Everybody's favorite person, according to him. Yes, he actually did when he came out and made that little speech or whatever the other day. He says he was like, hello, people, is Donald Trump your favorite president? I said, if you don't sit down somewhere. He said that. He said everybody's favorite president. Okay. But yeah, like I said, Donald Trump, 45, is your textbook narcissist. Now, if you want to talk about someone that has completely took over this week in news, you see it right there on your screen. So the last time I talked about him, it was a live Triple P, which I've never. Have I done one before? I can't remember if I did or I didn't. Talking about when he contracted the virus. And ever since then, it's been one hurdle after another. So one of the things that happened, of course, was after, and it's so crazy. this week when I had went to go work out, I had went and asked random people. I asked them how was your weekend, and they were like, it was okay, it was good. And I said, did you go to Walter Reed? I got all kinds of hell no's and eye rolls when I had told people that, because I was looking for that to be their response, and that's exactly what it was. But anyway, he of course went to Walter Reed Hospital. He got out, and this is how you know he's a textbook narcissist. This guy actually left out of the hospital just to go sit in a car and ride around and wave to his supporters as if this was some kind of a parade. Boulder Rockets, if it's a troll, if it's a troll in the chat, just block them. If you are a mod, if you have a wrench and there's a troll, just block them. But anyway, yeah, he rode around in that car, waved to the people, and when they took him back, he went back into the hospital. This is before he actually got discharged from Walter Reed. Like, they went out there and supported him and honking the horns and waving the flags and the banners and everything like that. And I said, now everybody who was riding with him in that car, now they got a quarantine. And they probably mad. I know I would be. I would be pissed. I just gave you one, Boulder. But what else happened? Like I said, was so much. Of course, when he got back to the White House, he got up onto the balcony and saluted the helicopter that brought him back. And everyone has been talking about this. He looked like he could barely breathe. He looked like he was gasping for air or trying to hold in a cough. Someone said he looked like he was holding in a cough, which is not a good thing to do, especially if you have a cold. Just let that cough rip. But he didn't want to do that. Then some more people ended up getting it. I think they said Stephen Miller got it. Mitch McConnell needs to get it. And a few others. And I was also reading somewhere, because I was on a live stream with Lisa and True Royal Family and LVZ a couple days ago. And it was talking about how since it has hit the White House, that thing has spread from Atlanta all the way up to Minnesota. So you're talking about from the East Coast to the Midwest, 2 different time zones. Like, they've given 45 the nickname Super Spreader. And Lisa did a video today where she played an audio where he was having an interview with Sean Clancy over at Fox News. And when you listen to him talk, his voice sounds hoarse. You know how when someone has laryngitis and they're struggling to talk? That's how he sounded. Alani said Giuliani too. Oh, if the gargoyle gets it, you already know. That's an ugly man, inside and out. But yeah, he was hoarse. Like, his voice didn't sound right. And now we don't know what's going on with the upcoming next debate between him and Joe Biden, because Joe Biden said he won't do it if 45 is present on stage. And then 45 says he doesn't want to do a virtual debate. Then on top of that, 45 is supposed to be going to Florida for another rally. Listen, 2020 has been an interesting year, to say the least. We will look back at this years from now and be like, wow, how did we make it? How did we get out of this? Yeah, I did hear that Chris Christie got it. And whenever I think about Chris Christie, all I could think about him is that picture of him wearing that very skin tight baseball uniform. It looks like the baseball uniform that he probably wore when he was younger, when he used to play baseball, that he tried to squeeze his meatball looking self into now. It was no air in that uniform. And speaking of, I'm glad you brought up Mike Pence, Helen. If y'all notice, because I didn't really pay attention to the debate between him and Kamala Harris either, but if you notice, well, first off, everybody keep talking about that fly Everyone keeps talking about that fly that landed on Pence's head. But what I wanted to talk about was, did you notice that one of his eyes was very red? Not like pink eye either, because I know what pink eye looks like, but it was very red and dark. It looks scary. Yeah, Richard, his eye looked weird. I said I wouldn't be surprised if he had it. AK Sour God, I'm glad you said that because I didn't think of that. He said he got that Sith eye. For those of you who are Star Wars fans, know exactly what the Sith eye looks like, and it did look like that. It did look like that. When I was looking at it, I was like, oh, Mike Pence, can you please look the other way so we don't have to see that? But yeah, the saga continues. I wonder what's going to be coming up this week, because you know that the next debate is supposed to be this week coming up. So we shall see what's going to come of this. But let me move on to the next story. Okay, now this one didn't get a lot of traction, and I know why I didn't, but if you was on Twitter, you probably saw it. It says, protesters burn masks in Brooklyn, woo-woo hotspot over Cuomo's crackdown on religious gatherings. Does anyone care to guess what religious groups they're talking about? Ogles, Sweeter, you got it correct. You're the first one to say it. The J community. Now, let me take it back a little bit, just in case some of y'all forgot, because I did a video about this. If y'all remember back in, was it June or May? I can't remember what month it was. It was a warm month when you had almost the entire J community come out in New York. Shout out to you, Noam King. He says the J-ish community. Yes, them. That's who we're talking about. They did, you know, for them when they celebrate, I guess, life or death, they hold the casket over them and then they carry them throughout the street. None of them had masks on. I said I can only imagine what that's going to be like when I saw that. And then, you know, they don't get checked like that because, you know, they govern their own communities and everything like that for the most part. Fast forward to this, those same individuals took these masks and threw it in a pile and burned them in the middle of the street like it was a big bonfire, and basically gave the huge FU to Andrew Cuomo, the governor, and was like, F your policy. We're going to do what we want to do. But listen, when I tell you, the woo-woo does not discriminate. And you know how I know? Because when they went out there and did what they did before, not this event, but the one before it, a couple of them caught it. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them died. Stephanie said they paid for his campaign. They probably did. But yeah, they had a whole bonfire. It was a video too. They was going back and forth with the police up there. Appreciate you, Noam King. He says that Cuomo guy pisses everyone off. I like him. LOL. Well, it depends on who you're talking to or who you ask. Exactly. Neek, is that Neek Amalam? I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name. I don't know if it's Neek or Nuke. He says the police did come out and they tried to fight them. One of them got arrested and they were resisting but didn't get shot. Of course they didn't. because it's like they own that little subset right up there. That's all theirs. They practically police their own areas. And when the outside police come in, they feel like they can do what they want. And when I was looking at it, some of the ones who was walking away, like some of the police up there that was walking away from it, they look so defeated because they couldn't do what they wanted to do. Even though in that moment they should have been able to arrest them. But some gotta learn the hard way. If they catch it, that's on them. Ogles, I spoke on that already. That part about George Floyd, I already talked about that. But yeah, something tells me we'll be hearing a story about the virus cases going up in these areas. But then again, they probably are up, but they're not reporting it. So let's move on to the next story. So y'all know how I did a live Triple P last week? Well, this week we're doing a live DNU, which I've never done on the channel. Now, many of you have already heard about this story. I was debating on whether or not I was going to do a pre-recorded video on it or just wait and talk about it today. But I said I couldn't do it. I said I want to talk about this with my audience in real time, because this right here is it's sad and it's ridiculous at the same time. So you have this guy right here whose name is Sidney Deal, who sacrificed his own daughter's life because he did not want to shatter the window of a car to get her out of the car where she was at, where she couldn't really breathe. 2/3, y'all. This is the 2/3 that you see on your screen. His car was worth more than his daughter's life. Let's read and see what it says. Clark County Department of Family Services says it received 5 reports of possible child abuse connected to a 1-year-old Saya Deal before her death on October 5th inside of a car parked at residence on H Street. The child's father, age 27-year-old Sidney Deal, was arrested and charged with child abuse. He claims that he accidentally locked his daughter in the car and thought she was only sleeping. Isn't that what they all say? According to the report from the CCDFS, they received 3 allegations of neglect in July and September of 2018, 1 in January 2019, and 1 in June of 2020. That was no accident. Look at all these reports they got before what recently happened. That was no accident. It says Child Protective Services says that all of the allegations were found to be unsubstantiated. Forgive me, y'all. Deal was granted bail on Thursday by a Las Vegas. Well, first, shout out to King. He says that nigga has one of the most punchable faces. He does, and I'm sure he's going to receive that wherever he's going. It says Deal was granted bail on Thursday by a Las Vegas judge. His next court hearing is set for December 3rd. He should not have gotten a bail. I always say people like that do not deserve a bail. At this time, Deal is still in the Clark County Detention Center. This is not the first time that a child has died after investigation about child abuse. And it says 13 Action News Chief Investigator Darcy Spears looked into the issue in 2018 after a toddler named Deja Hunt was reported missing and found dead near Lake Mead. But he did not want to break the window of his car to get his daughter out of it. If it was me, I would have found the brick that he should have used to break that window, but I would have used it to break his face. That's what would have gotten shattered that day. Like, you put your car over your child. Like, sheesh. That's crazy. That's wild. And there's going to be another DNU that I'm going to bring to y'all sometime next week. That's almost just as bad as this one. I'm not going to go into detail about it on here because it would be pointless if I mention it here. Then upload the video later. Shout out to you, son is hot raw. He says, it's been a while, brother T. Trust all is well and good. You're doing amazing work. Don't stop now. Oh, no problem. Appreciate you. But that's hold on, let me see this. Sean Isaac, you said, hold on, what did you say? You said how do we know if any of this is true coming from a racist media? He claimed he accidentally locked his daughter in the car. He made the claim. It was no allegation. Those were his confessions. Did you come in late on the story? He claims that he accidentally locked his daughter in the car and thought she was only sleeping. Who leaves their child in a car to sleep by themselves, even on accident? See, hold on. Now y'all about to throw me off because now those comments are starting to come up a little bit more. See, this is the thing that I don't get. If this was a white person that did this, oh, they did it. They did it. But if it's a black person that did it, oh, it's the racist white media. How do we know that they're not lying? So y'all think that black people are incapable of doing this to their kids? How long have y'all been on my channel? I've done so many stories about black so-called parents abusing their kids and doing worse than what this guy did. I'm telling you right now, as a black man, I'm here to tell you, not every black person is an angel. Is a reason why we call it 2/3. Do we know that black people can get accused and falsely accused of stuff? Yeah, historically, it has proven that. But when he claims that he locked his daughter in the car, first off, why was your daughter locked in the car? What were you doing? That was so important that you had to lock your daughter in the car. What was you doing? Your daughter should have been your first priority. And to my knowledge, she was locked in there for a while. Let me move on. So many of you probably you have heard about this story right here. Michigan governor, domestic terrorist targeted her. So the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, had some individuals who decided they was going to feel froggy that day and go and plot to kidnap her. Like, this is pretty much public information now. There's no speculation. There's no allegations. And they caught all of them. All 6 of them, of course, are palm colored that did it. Had that been us, we already know how that would have went down. Like, they went and plotted to kidnap her. And I actually found out that 2 of them was there at the state capitol. I'm not state at this state house back in April when they were protesting, not wanting to follow the protocols with the quarantine and everything like that. 2 of them were there. They found the picture and they pointed them out. My thing is this, and some other people said it as well. She should have nipped that in the bud the day that happened back in April, when they all started to flood through and come through the way that they did. And that was, again, an exhibit of palm-colored privilege doing this thing. Right, V. Michelle? They're not terrorists. They're a militia group because they didn't refer to them as terrorists. I think they did, but no, they did refer to them as domestic terrorists. But they put it in quotations, though. They just didn't flat out say it, although they should have. Now, this is domestic terrorism because by the definition, she is a politician. And they made an open threat on her life to say they were going to come and kidnap her. But something I want to bring to your attention, and I'm so glad that this came my way, was this video on Twitter where they interviewed the sheriff in Michigan about it. Now I want y'all to pay attention to what he says.
County Sheriff Darleaf, who does say he knows these guys. He, quote, has never had lunch with them or anything like that, but has ran into them at some of these rallies. He said they've always been nice and respectful to him, adding they deserve a fair trial.
Michael and William Null were among the first charged Thursday for their alleged roles in the plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The brothers from Plainwell and Shelbyville are now charged with providing support for terroristic acts, on top of weapons charges. Their West Michigan homes raided Wednesday night.
Was able to hear them say, FBI, have a warrant for your arrest. Come out with your hands up.
A neighbor of William Null spoke with Fox 17 under the condition of anonymity. They witnessed the raid and were shocked hearing what it was related to.
I had heard that there was a lot of militia people. Their right to do so, but to the extent that we just found out last night, totally surprised about that.
The Null brothers had ties to militia groups and were frequently seen at local demonstrations, including at this rally in protest of Governor Whitmer's stay-at-home order held last May in Grand Rapids. You can see William Null on stage alongside Barry County Sheriff Dar Leaf, a guest speaker at the event. We spoke with Sheriff Leaf Thursday night.
Well, I haven't read everything up on it. I've got other duties to do. It wasn't our investigation. So I was shocked. I did not see this coming with those guys, but still, we can't convict them in the news media here. They do have a right to a fair trial.
Leaf says he doesn't know of Null's alleged involvement in the plot and doesn't have any regrets about sharing a stage with him.
Do you have any regrets from being on stage, sharing a stage with a guy who's now being charged in a plot to kidnap the governor?
Well, it's just a charge, and they say a plot to kidnap. And you got to remember that, are they trying to kidnap? Because a lot of people are angry with the governor, and they want her arrested. So are they trying to arrest, or was it a kidnap attempt? Because you can still, in Michigan, if it's a felony, you can make a felony arrest. And I think it's MCL 764.4 or something like that, 0.5, somewhere around there. And it doesn't say if you're an elected office that you're exempt from that arrest. So I have to look at it from that angle. And I'm hoping that's more what it is. In fact, these guys are innocent until proven guilty. So I'm not even sure if they had any part in it.
Okay, so y'all just heard that entire part right there, but the part that I really wanted y'all to focus on was this deputy sheriff right here. And I'm looking at the chat, and y'all are echoing what I was getting ready to say. I believe he's in on it because he's doing too much defending of them. Remember, he shared a stage with them back in April when they was protesting the stay-at-home order by the same woman that had the kidnapping plot made on her life. And he's being very nonchalant about it. And he's basically saying, how do we know it was a kidnapping attempt when they could have just been, what did he say? Was it arrest? Whatever it is he said. He stayed on cold for that militia group because he don't like her either. I wouldn't be surprised if he, well, I was getting ready to repeat myself. I just think that he's in on it. I truly believe that he was in on the scheme and the plot to kidnap her. Talking about what were they going to go over there for? They were going to go have tea? They were going to go Netflix and chill? Not dressed like that. But I'm curious, though. What are those other people who claim that they are pro-American and everything like that? You know, what do they feel about this? Throw some names. I want y'all, because I wasn't going to do this, but since I'm already on Twitter, I want y'all to throw some names in the chat We're not going to do this for a long time. Throw some names in the chat of people whose account I can go to see if they're talking about this, because this just happened yesterday. We're going to see how quote unquote all American they are. Dang, you threw up the obvious name, the Coonstress. Let's see what's going on over on her side. If I can find her daggone page. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay, here she is. Oh, I blocked her. We're gonna have to go to somebody else. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, look at him. Tatum report. Gretchen Whitmer blames the president for kidnap plot. Trump campaign response complete phony. Let's see. Marissa Hamilton is the only candidate for Phoenix. That's something completely different. Let's see. That's about the Coonstress, Mike Pence, Kamala Harris. Well, what do you know? He doesn't have anything up about the militias wanting to go plan to kidnap her, but he did make a post about when she said allegedly that she blamed 45 for the kidnapping plot, but he doesn't have any words for the ones who actually plotted to kidnap her. No surprise. Let's see. Shout out to you, Gnome King. He said he probably facilitated the whole thing. I bet he radioed units in the area and directed them away from the vicinity of the incident to deter dispatch. Probably. Let's see. Who else do y'all got in here? Oh, the Saltine Queen. Let's see what she's talking about. Okay, she's talking about Democrats. Of course, that's all she likes to talk about. Oh, look at that. She's not talking about it either. Because remember, that happened yesterday. So the only post she made today was, we should never put up with the psycho Democrats saying at real Donald Trump won't accept the results of the election with the continual crap they pull. Unbelievable. They found a new low. This happened yesterday on the 9th. The last post she made before today was on the 8th about young people aren't all psycho socialist. Patriots still exist. So she didn't talk about it. Throw some more names up in there. Let's see. Someone said Anthony Brian Logan. Let's see what he says. Okay. He's talking about Shaq. Okay. He made a video called America's a Racist Place. VP Mike Pence stole the show. Okay, let's see. It looked like he did put something here. The media tried to tell you the Michigan guys were Trump supporters, but maybe, just maybe, anti-government guys wouldn't like the actual leader of the government. Okay, what does that have to do with deflection? So he didn't really talk about it either. Okay, who else do we got? Already went to the Saltine Queens page, Jerome. I went to hers before his. Let's see. Cubic zirconia and polyester. AKA diamond and silk. Look at this mammy mess. Let's see here. Not that. Not that. Then, of course, 45. They're talking about Al Sharpton. Not there. R45 talking about Rush Limbaugh. Them having their mammy prayer. Oh God. Is not looking. Look, they didn't talk about it either. We listen. We like 4-0 right now. Let's see. Sean Hannity. Let's see here. He's talking about Mike Pompeo and Hillary Clinton. 45. Breonna Taylor. Ohio, Elizabeth Warren, mail-in ballots, Nancy Pelosi, Broadway, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, taxpayer dollars, Joe Biden. Who else here? 45, him and 45, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. Okay, I think it's safe to say all the players kneeling. Okay. So he didn't talk about it either. Are y'all seeing where I'm going with this? Do y'all know why I did this? Hardly none of them are talking about it. And if they are, like that Brandon Fakem, they're talking about it in a way where it can bring 45 into the fold. If Gretchen Whitmer, quote unquote, didn't mention 45, like he says, he would not have talked about it. K-Bot said Herschel Walker and his daughter. But what, you know what? I will type his name in. Where's his name in? Christian Walker. Let me see if I can find it. Is that him right there? Hold on. Yeah, here's Christian Walker. Look at him. You don't even have to have the thing unmuted and see how zesty he is. Look at this. Look at all y'all. If y'all never seen, I'm not gonna unmute this because I don't care what he got to say. Just look at the the womanisms that this guy is giving. This is Christian Walker. This is Herschel Walker's son, in case y'all didn't know. That's him. But anyway, we ain't come to see all of that. Okay, he says, Colorado, killing babies is not reproductive health, it's murder. Americans are finished. Stop treating white people how black people used to be shown. Oh my God. He says, stop treating white people how black people used to be treated. BLM has ruined black people's image. I shouldn't have to tell people I'm not a BLM terrorist simply because of my skin color. Anti-racist really means anti-white. Anti-racist people are consistently the most racist people. Let's keep scrolling. Okay. Nothing mentioning about what happened in Michigan, because after he talks about white liberals and Kamala Harris, the next one that he has is October 7th, which was 2 days ago. And if I said October 10th early, and I think I did, forgive me. I got my dates mixed up, but still the notion stands. So he didn't talk about it either. No surprise there. Okay, I'll do one more. Y'all said Terrence K. Williams, even though I had the anyway. Look at him. He got a new book. Well, apparently it came out already, From Foster House to the White House. Okay, let's see. Kanye West is not helping President Trump. When we the people are helping President Trump. When I'm voting for President Trump. Oh, I'm glad someone told me to come to his page. If y'all remember when I did the triple P on him the other day, I told you if you go to his page, it's like an entire shrine to 45. And so far, we're 2 tweets in and he has mentioned 45 twice. Excuse my language, but Kamala Harris got her, you know what, kicked? Let's see here. Okay, let's keep going. Look at this. Look at this. He got a pic. He's dancing and he has 45's face over his face in one of them and himself in the other. But like all the others, he did not talk about what happened in Michigan either. Oh my God. Oh man. Oh man, this is crazy. All right, I'm done looking. My point has been proven. None of them are talking about what happened with Gretchen Whitmer and the attempted kidnapping on her yesterday. None of them. My point has been proven. So let me move on to the next topic. Now, this one right here is kind of sad. And it's a video that went viral where you had this young lady who used to work for American Airlines. And she just found out this would be her last flight because, you know, the airlines are they're laying off a lot of people, and I think she was one of the ones that got laid off. So I want y'all to listen to it. It's like 3 minutes long.
Take a moment to check your seat back pocket for any personal
And this is her
items,
right here,
like tablets and cell phones.
with the braids.
When you open the overhead compartment, be careful, as items may have moved in flight. And thank you for choosing American Airlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dallas Fort Worth. For local time is 7:22 p.m. We'll be arriving in Terminal D, Gate D17. If Dallas is your final destination and you have checked luggage, you may pick that up at Carousel D16. Before we go our separate ways this evening, I'd like to leave you with a few words. As all of you know, the airline industry has been impacted greatly by this global pandemic. Our routes and flying have been significantly reduced, resulting in our company having an overage staff. For myself and one other crew member on our flight today, this means we'll be furloughed October 1st. And unfortunately, this was my last working flight before that day comes. I will never forget seeing your faces today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the kindness shown on today's flight. I also want to personally thank each and every one of you for choosing to fly American today. While I have already begun my next chapter, there are many of my coworkers who have not. And because of that, I ask that you please keep them in your thoughts during this time. This job was an escape for me after being unhappy with my job after graduating college. It was a job that awarded me many opportunities. A job that I fell in love with. I've been to places I never thought I'd have the opportunity to go, and places I never knew existed. I've met people from all walks of life, and I've made friendships that will last the rest of my life. To my family at American Airlines, thank you for taking a chance on me 2.5 short years ago. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to see this big world. To my amazing crew, I wish each of you the best of luck. We were told in training to be like palm trees, and this is a perfect example. We may bend, but we never break. Finally, I have one last request for each of you today. With so much happening in the world, you never know how small actions can impact the next person. Please be kind to one another, practice compassion with everyone, live with acceptance of yourself and others. And until I see you guys in the friendly skies again, please take care of yourself and your health. I hope all of you have a wonderful night. And again, thank you for flying with us.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. She was one of the people that got affected by the furloughs and the layoffs for these airline companies. If y'all remember last week, in my live stream, I talked about how many Disney employees got laid off. They said 28,000 between Florida and California, Disneyland and Disney World. The same thing is happening with the airline industry, where they're getting a lot of people who are being laid off as well. And most of them, a lot of times, if they're not full-time employees, those are the ones that are majorly affected. If you're like part-time, they can easily get rid of you. But she just basically made this video, and she did put all of that in her phone because she was reading off of her phone, or maybe it was a tablet of what she was saying. You can tell she was fighting or trying to fight back the tears to avoid, being overly emotional in her statement, so people could understand what she was saying. Yeah, a good point she made, Latoya. She says, and with the holidays coming, it's going to get worse. Yeah, it's going to be this is only the beginning. I'm almost worried to see what's going to look like within the next 2 months. Because, when people lose their livelihoods, people get desperate. That's when desperation happens. That's why when it came to the food, and when people heard the word food shortage, they were scared. That's one thing that you don't want to hear. When you are short on food, that's when people go buck wild. But like I said, she's not the only one. She's one of several that is affected by this. And take it from somebody who used to work at an airport. I had got laid off, not from this though. I got laid off, was it last year when I used to work at the airport because they were doing cutbacks. Who would have thought months later this would be happening? But that's what happens when also, like I was reading in the chat, when you have greed attached to this as well, because you already know that a lot of these companies, when they took them bailouts, you know where that money went. But as of March 9th, 2020, that's when America changed. And it's not going back to the way it was. We, like I said before, this is our new normal. We're trying to adjust because it's still brand new. But going forward it's going to be a new ball game. KM Hart says that Ruby Tuesday just filed for bankruptcy. I can't remember the last time I've been in a Ruby Tuesdays. I didn't even know Ruby Tuesdays was still around, to be quite honest. But yeah, it's affecting a lot of people, in a very huge way. And with automation right around the corner, it's going to get even more interesting, and not in a good way for most people. But I do hope that she's able to find something from this. Appreciate you all Team's questions. He said, I know you saw Michelle Obama video begging people to stop listening to the black media desperate. I didn't listen to it and don't care to. Mitchell Harvey, you said, how did these companies take billions of dollars in bailouts but still fire thousands of employees? Most likely to cover themselves, to make it seem like they didn't get anything, so they could have a reason to fire them. That way they won't have to pay them. See, a lot of these companies, believe it or not, were looking for a reason to fire a lot of people, but they couldn't get one. But thanks to this virus that just fell into their lap, they took advantage of it and they ran with it for their own selfish reasons. But yeah, what they did was they took advantage of the virus, the pandemic, or some people call it the plandemic, and they used it for their own personal reasons. And some of them, like I said, were looking to downsize, but they couldn't find a way to do it. But now they have one. But stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. But let me move on to the next one. So, the Proud Boys has some new members. Proud Boys hashtag taken over by a different group. Hall G. When I had saw them trending on Twitter, I was like, oh God, what are they talking about now with these Proud Boys? And then when I saw the flag and all over the place, I was like, wait a minute, what did I just click on? Like, what's going on here? And basically what they did was, at least on social media, is they hijacked the Proud Boys hashtag and used it for themselves. I said, well, now you know what BLM did. Because it's initially kind of the same thing, but I've noticed that, of course, most of the men in Hall G who did this are palm colored. I haven't seen anyone black do it yet. And I'm going to be honest. When I think of Proud Boys, this is actually who I would think of or come to mind. I said Gavin McInnes, the founder, is probably like just twirling around his mustache, probably saying all types of stuff in some native tongue. right now. Just looking at this, he's like, first, y'all done let the Negroes in. You done let this imposter come in and be the chairman behind me. Now you done let the academy get in. What did I do? What did I go wrong? Let's see what they're talking about. The hashtag of the hate group, the Proud Boys, was filled with a different message over the weekend. G-men sharing images of their lives and families. After the Proud Boys saw a surge in attention in recent days, Hall G have posted pictures with the hashtag Proud Boys while referencing their relationship with their partner. On Thursday, Star Trek actor George Takei, who is a member of the Academy, posted a comment on Twitter in support of the move by Hall G. What if G-men took pictures of themselves making out with each other or doing very G things, then tagged themselves with hashtag Proud Boys? Takei tweeted. The Proud Boys are a far-right, all-male organization that preaches violence and are notable for being told to stand by 45 at Tuesday's presidential debate. The group was recently the focus of a video by the independent journalist Andrew Callahan, in which the Proud Boy leader Enrique Tarrio said, "A lot of people assume that I'm here to protest Antifa and BLM, and that's probably the furthest thing from the truth. It's about the Western world," another member says. "Western nationalists, we love America." That's mostly what the Proud Boys is. The Proud Boys are not specifically homophobic, teaching a more generalized hatred of liberalization and minority stereotypes. CNN that pro-academy imagery didn't run counter to their ideology. Oh, so look at that. Their chairman, that Enrique Tarrio, basically has no problem with it. That's basically, in layman's terms, what he said. He said, this isn't something that's offensive to us. It's not an insult. We aren't homophobic. We don't care who people sleep with. People think it's going to bother us, and it doesn't. Well, Enrique, you're speaking for yourself here, but not everybody's going to share your ideology. Now, if they tell him he needs to stand down and step back from his position, we'll know why. Let me see what else they're talking about. This was the picture. This was the picture right here that I kept seeing. It says hashtag Proud Boys, standing back and standing by. Meanwhile, you got all these swole PC men wearing the Wonder Woman costume. When I saw this picture, I bust out. I bust out laughing so hard when I saw it. That was the one I saw. That was the one I kept seeing. But speaking of moisture, wait till y'all hear this next one. This probably be the last thing I talk about. Speaking of moisture, this one right here. A shout out to Latoya. She said he was on another chat and was pissed because of it. It was on Reddit. So he's basically, so you're saying he's faking the funk. So wait till y'all hear this. Wait till y'all hear this. If y'all are on Twitter, y'all saw this. Probably.
Undecided. Because I really want to know what the candidates' true plans are and how they're going to reach across the aisle to really get things done. We're at such a crucial time in our country. We need people that are willing to talk to each other. And for Trump, I want to see what his plans really are to make that happen. And I want Biden to tell me how he's going to be able to reach across the aisle because the divide has gotten so large. I want to know how they can work together to make the country better and not just be one-liners.
You're looking for unity.
Yes.
All right, undecided.
Listen to me when I tell y'all this to anybody who's on the outside looking in from my channel. This is not me passing judgment on this person's clear and obvious lifestyle. However, when I clicked this video, I and everybody in this chat listening did not expect him to sound like a Valley girl. Like, if you looked at him before I pressed this video, you would expect, like, you know, some bass to come out of his mouth. What's going on? Vincent Taylor, shout out to you. He says, you know what? I'm not even mad at the Academy for taking over the Pride Boys. But when you look at him, you did not expect his voice to sound like that. And I have to co-sign the person recording the video. She says, what did she say? Let me see if I can run that back. She said you should be embarrassed of your voice being heard, basically making fun of him sounding like that. I could not believe that he sounded the way that he did. You know what it reminded me of? Y'all remember that movie Sorry to Bother You? When you had to throw in your white person voice? That's what he sounded like, only his sounded like a white woman. Appreciate you, KM Hearts. He says, Mitch the B said no stimulus relief. Most CEOs got rich. Jays are suing NYS at the moment. Second wave is here. Get at Costco's, BJ's, or Sam's Club account. They have warehouses. Yep. People better be prepared. And flu season is right around the corner. Let me play that again. And I know it's going to be hard, only because somebody asked.
Because I really want to know what the candidates' true plans are.
Now, here's the thing. This guy's being interviewed because he's undecided of who he wants to vote for between 45 and Pence. He's still undecided just less than a month before the election. If you're undecided at this point, you might as well not even vote or vote down ballot.
How they're going to reach across the aisle to really get things done. We're such a crucial time in our country. We need people that are willing to talk to each other. And for Trump, I want to see what he...
And Miss Yum Yum, that's scary. She said Billy Porter got a deeper voice than him. And that's scary. Because his voice is slightly deeper than his. It's annoying, but yeah.
But what his plans really are to make that happen, and I want Biden to tell me how he's going to be able to reach across the aisle because the divide has gotten so large. I want to know how they can work together to make the country better and not just make one-liners.
You're looking for unity.
Yes.
Yes. You heard that? He said, so you're looking for the country to be better? Yes. My thing is, why did... Listen, if I was the reporter asking those questions, I would have to constantly keep looking away because there's no way I would have been able to keep a straight face interviewing this guy with his voice sounding like that. But like I said, I did not expect his voice to sound like that when I pressed play on this video when I first saw it a couple days ago. And I'm sure y'all didn't either, because you're looking at him like, okay, you know, he looks like, you know, a regular guy. He doesn't appear to be flamboyant, but the minute he opened up his mouth and that's what came out of it, it's like, whoa, like you could have closed your eyes and you would have swore up and down that this was a white woman. Now, I'm gonna have to agree. Shout out to V. Michelle. He says, I mean, that mess sounds like helium. Yeah, I even said that his voice is almost as squeaky as a chipmunk. Appreciate you, Noam King. He said he sounds like he's been delivered. He said he sounds like he's been delivered. I don't like men's no more. I don't want to wear a purse. That was crazy when that video first came out a few years ago. But yeah. Many people even said that he probably went up there and was doing this for attention. I wouldn't be surprised. Just him, his presence and how he was talking and what he was talking about, which made no sense, by the way, just screams crying for attention. But I just wanted y'all to hear that because that was kind of funny to me. It was funny to me. It's cringy at the same time, but it was funny. But yeah. Anyway, that's probably going to be it for my live stream this week. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the channel. Make sure y'all, if you haven't done so already, y'all should be subscribed. Make sure you're still subscribed because you know YouTube likes to mess with your accounts and whatnot. Make sure y'all have that bell clicked. If you can, follow me on Twitter. Have that bell turned on. That way you can get notified whenever I make any type of a post, especially when I post my videos. Because like I said, I always post my videos over there first. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Have a safe weekend, and I will talk to you in the next one.